Assalamu alaikum, dear students of class first year. Today we are going to start unit number 14 that is entitled as A Long Walk Home. This is basically a short story that is written by the author Jason Bucaro. The theme of the story is related to character building, and this is your lesson number 1 of this story. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Students, after listening to today's lesson, you'll be able to understand genre of short story and its elements, author's style of writing, literal and implied meanings of different words and phrases. These literal and implied meanings would be understood by you people after reading the text thoroughly. Then you'll be able to understand how to interpret and evaluate the story critically and learn a lesson about the value of speaking the truth because this story is related to the value of speaking the truth. You'll be able to learn more about language structures, spellings, punctuation, etc. Again, students, this point is related to your own study of the text. Now I'm going to describe the topic to you. Introduction. A Long Walk Home is a short story written by an American writer, Jason Bucaro. The story teaches the value of veracity. Veracity means speaking the truth and the demerits of telling lies. So after reading this story, you'll be able to know that how important it is to to speak the truth and how harmful it is to tell a lie. Overview of the story is that the story revolves around a 16-year-old young man whose name is Jason, who is supposed to pick his father at 4 in the evening from a point pre-decided by them. But he gets busy in watching movies, and being late, he has to tell a lie that is later on found out by his father, who punishes himself for not training his son well, and the son gets so full of regret that he decides never to tell a lie again. Students, you have to read textbook page number 128 and 129. These pages contain this short story. It's very interesting. After reading this short story, you will be able to notice all these elements which are mentioned in this slide. These are the elements of short story. First of all, setting. Setting means where the action of the story takes place. That is south of Spain, a village named Majas. Characters. There are two main characters of this story. One is Jason, that is 16-year-old boy, and his another character is his father. Number three, point of view. The story has been narrated from first person point of view, means the narrator of the story is the author of the story. Theme of the story is related to the value or importance of veracity, importance of speaking the truth, and drawback or disadvantage of telling a lie. Then plot. And plot contains all these stages. Exposition means the beginning, then rising action. After that, the story reaches its climax, means the highest point, peak point. Then falling action starts, and in the end, we are going to notice resolution. So, students, after reading this story, you would be able to notice all these elements of short story in this lesson. Yes, students, as you know that the plot of the story contains 5 stages. First stage is exposition stage. In this story, exposition stage involves this thing that Jason is commanded by his father to drive him to Majas, that is a village 18 miles away from their hometown. Rising action. Father is dropped over there and the car is taken by Jason to a nearby garage for some servicing. Jason gets indulged in watching movies in order to pass time and cannot go back to pick his father in time. And father eventually had to wait over there for 2 hours. Eventually, Jason had to tell a lie. Now, how does the story reach its climax? The story reaches its climax or the peak point when Jason's lie is exposed. Jason told his father that he could not be able to reach the point from where he had to pick his father because the car needed some major repairs. But father had already called the garage to ask if there were any problems, and the people over there told him that his son Jason had not yet picked up the car. Now, when Jason tells this lie, then the father is extremely disappointed because he was not at all expecting this kind of a behavior from his son. So, this was the climax of the story. And now, the following action starts when Jason's father refuses to accompany him. He refuses to sit in the car, he refuses to go back home along with his son. He decides to walk to his home, though darkness has prevailed, and it is 18 miles from there to his home. Doing so, he intends to punish himself for not being able to train his son properly. He thinks that if his son has told a lie, it is not his son's fault, but it is his fault that he has not trained his son properly about speaking the truth. And now, this was not only a punishment for the father, but of course, this was also a great punishment for the son as well. He was full of a deeper regret, a deeper agony over this thing. So both of them were tortured. The resolution stage of the story reaches when, tortured by an acute regret, बहुत ज़्यादा शदीद किस्म के पछतावे के बाद, जेसन डिसाइड्स नेवर टू टेल अ लाई टू हिज फादर अगेन. जेसन ने ये फैसला किया कि आइंदा वो कभी भी अपने फादर के सामने झूठ नहीं बोलेगा. एंड दिस इज़ हाउ द ऑथर has successfully taught us a very important lesson, and this is a very important part of the character building, that we must avoid telling lies. We must speak the truth. These are the questions, and you have to write the answers to all these questions after reading the text properly. Why did Jason readily agree to drive his father to Majas? When was he supposed to pick his father? Why did he get late? What excuse did Jason invent as an explanation for his being late? Why did Jason's father decide to walk 18 miles back home? And what was the most distressing experience for Jason? Students, write the answers to all these questions in your notebooks, please. These are the important MCQs related to this story. Question number 1 is, Majas is dash miles away from Jason's hometown, 15, 16, 17 or 18. Jason lost the track of time because of getting busy. Read the options and then select one of them. Jason's father came to know about his lie by talking to. Then again, you can notice here the options and you have to select one of them. A long walk home has been written by the name of the author. You have to write over here. And what does Jason's father contemplate about? So that is, contemplate means think about, right? You'll have to answer these questions after reading the text. Here are some important short questions related to this story. Number 1, what was Jason supposed to do in this story? Number 2, why could he not go to pick his father on time? Number 3, why did he tell a lie to his father? Question number 4, what was Jason's father's reaction after listening to Jason's excuse? Question number 5, what is your opinion about Jason's father's response towards his telling a lie? Now students, what is the conclusion of the story? We can say that A Long Walk Home is an impressive story which throws light on the value of veracity, means speaking truth, and the demerits of telling lies. Here we notice a son telling a lie to his father, the lie getting exposed, and the father feeling extreme disappointment over seeing his own failure in bringing up his son properly. Thus, considering it his own mistake, the father punishes himself by walking 18 miles back to his home, which fills the son with an acute feeling of regret over his mistake, and he learns an important lesson from this painful experience.